Imagine a fire so vast, so hungry, a fire that burns not for an hour, not for a day, but for 3 whole months. But before you imagine the ash, you must understand the treasure. Historical records from the Chinese traveler Xuanzang describe a place that defied logic. He wrote of towers adorned with precious gems, so tall they seemed to pierce the clouds. Observatories rose so high they were lost in the morning mist. Another scholar, Ai Tsing, who lived there for 10 years, recorded something remarkable. The library was not a single room. It was a complex of 3 colossal buildings. One of them was called Ratnadadi, the Ocean of Jewels. And this is not legend. Even the history books of the conquerors confirm it. In the Tabakat-i-Nasiri, the historian Minhaj-i-Siraj described the conquest. He wrote of a massive city filled not with weapons, but with infinite heaps of books. He wrote that when soldiers asked a few surviving monks to explain the meaning of these books, there was no one left to answer. All the scholars had been slain. It was the greatest collection of human knowledge ever assembled, and in the year 1193, that ocean of jewels was set on fire. If you stood in the plains of Bihar that winter and looked at the sky, you would not see the sun, only black smoke. That smoke was the vaporized wisdom of all mankind. We did not just lose a library that day, we lost our future. But before the fire, there was silence, the beautiful silence of thought. Let me take you back. Before the ash, imagine a university without borders. Oxford and Cambridge would not exist for centuries. But here, in the east, stood Nalanda. Nalanda was not just a school. It was a city of dreams. 10,000 students from China, Korea, Japan, Turkey, and Sri Lanka living together, not to conquer lands, but to conquer ignorance. There were no guards at the gates, only scholars. To enter, you did not need money. You needed a mind sharp enough to answer the riddles of the gatekeepers. Inside, it was magic. The library, the magnificent Dharma Gunj, rose so high it touched the clouds. Inside those walls lay 9 million manuscripts. 9 million. It was magic. Books on surgery, written when Europe was still bleeding patients to cure them. Books on astronomy, mapping the planets before the telescope. Mathematics, philosophy, alchemy. It was the brain of the world, and it was alive. But knowledge has a natural enemy, brute force. Enter Bakhtiyar Khilji, a general who believed the sword was mightier than the pen. History tells us a strange irony. Legend says Khilji fell deadly ill. His own doctors failed. He was dying. In desperation, he was advised to summon a healer from Nalanda, Rahul Sri Bhadra. Khilji refused to take medicine from an infidel, so the scholar gave him a book. He said, "Just read this." Khilji read, and miraculously, he was cured. The scholar had applied a medicinal paste to the pages. As Khilji licked his fingers to turn them, he ingested the cure. You would think he would be grateful, that he would bow to superior knowledge. No, he was furious, consumed by jealousy. How could unarmed monks possess knowledge greater than his sword? If you cannot understand something, destroy it. The order was given not to loot the gold, not to capture the land, but to burn the books. Torches were thrown into the Ratnodadi. Dry palm leaves, centuries old, caught fire instantly. Can you hear it? It sounds like a scream. Thousands of monks stayed back. They did not run. They hugged the books. They tried to save the manuscripts with their own bodies, burning alongside the words they loved, because for them, a life without knowledge was not worth living. It is said the library was so vast, so full of dense manuscripts, that it burned for 3 whole months. Day and night, smoke rose into the sky like a funeral pyre for humanity. Aryabhata's calculations, gone. Sushruta's medical notes, gone. The lost history of ancient India, gone. Turned into gray, meaningless ash. Today, if you visit Nalanda, you will see red bricks, broken walls, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Tourists arrive, they take selfies, they leave. But if you stand there alone and close your eyes, you may feel a heaviness in your chest. That is the weight of what we lost. Historians often ask, what if those 9 million books survived? survived? Would we have discovered gravity before Newton? Would we have reached the moon in the 1700s? Would we have cured diseases that still kill us today? We will never know, because the answers are in the ashes. We did not just lose a library. We lost a version of ourselves that we can never get back.